11 facts you probably didn't know about July 25th. 1. First woman spacewalker, Soviet cosmonaut Svetlana Savitskaya became the first woman to walk in space on July 25, 1984, spending 3.5 hours outside the Salyut 7 space station. She was also the second woman in space and the first to travel to space twice. 2. Face on Mars photo. The Viking 1 spacecraft captured the famous face on Mars photo on July 25, 1976. This image sparked debate about whether the feature was naturally formed or an artificial structure. The phenomenon of seeing patterns in random stimuli is called pareidolia. 3. End of the Woolworths lunch counter segregation. On July 25, 1960, a Woolworths store in Greensboro, North Carolina, dropped its segregation policy at its lunch counter following months of protests and sit-ins initiated by the Greensboro Four. For Andrea Doria shipwreck, the Italian luxury liner Andrea Doria sank on July 25, 1956, after colliding with the Swedish liner Stockholm in heavy fog off the coast of Nantucket. Despite being considered unsinkable, the Andrea Doria suffered a major leak and capsized after its empty fuel tanks on one side were not properly filled with seawater to maintain stability. 5. First underwater nuclear weapon test. The United States detonated an atomic bomb near Bikini Atoll in the Pacific on July 25, 1946, in the first underwater test of a nuclear device. 6. First airplane flight across the English Channel. Louis Blériot, a French aviator, made the first flight across the English Channel in a heavier-than-air machine on July 25, 1909. 7. Erfurt latrine disaster, aka the Royal Flush. On July 25, 1184, more than 60 nobles drowned in a pool of excrement when the floor of a building in Erfurt, Germany collapsed during a meeting called by King Heinrich VI. 8. Canada's first income tax. Canada introduced its first income tax on July 25, 1917, as a temporary measure during World War I. 9. The first railroad accident in U.S. history. The first recorded railroad accident in the United States occurred on July 25, 1832, on the Granite Railway near Quincy, Massachusetts. 10. Henry Ford praises Mahatma Gandhi. On July 25, 1941, Henry Ford wrote a fan letter to Mahatma Gandhi praising his campaign of civil disobedience against British colonial rule in India. 11. Assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb revolutionary, assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife on July 25, 1914, in Sarajevo, an event that triggered World War I.